Hi everyone, welcome back. Um, I am just walking round and round here trying to figure out or trying to find any little blemishes and defects that are left. We're getting really close now. All the detail stuff still needs wet sanding in all the door shuts and around the insides of all the doors and all that. But everything else is pretty much there. All the filler work is sanded down, primed once, flatted back, and I'm just going through a few blemishes now, like these little low spots and things that needed doing. A lot of work in this bit. I mean, it does go on and on and on, like me talking. But it's kind of nice. Everything's smooth, clean. You're not going to cut your fingers on any edges anymore. It's kind of where you can make a big difference in what you're doing, whether it's mediocre or quite nice. Difference your end result. Could really do with more than one person for doing this. It just gets tedious and it's not massively complex. It's just a lot of work, especially on a van because there's a lot of pieces, especially when you're doing color change and everything as well because you've got all the door shuts and everything to do. Right, what I'm going to do is I will show you where I'm setting up the paint around here. I need to go get a few bits of stuff to finish it off in time to do this van, so I'm hoping over this weekend that I will get that done and we're going to start painting start of the week. I think maybe the first couple of days of the week might be very damp, and that might make us white, but we'll see. It's actually been quite nice northerlies and stuff. It just means there's less moisture in the air and it's better. I know I'm indoors, but it still makes a big difference, so I will wait until a suitable day, preferably if it's fairly still outside and kind of nice and dry. Which is a bit hard got this time of year, but yeah, we're a bit better set up now anyway, so I'll give you a look around. Okay, so out here there's just panels everywhere, boot lids ready to go, inside and out, all the doors, all that one's ready, just need to sand the back of it and finish off around the window edges. See, the paint will lift all that and it'll just continue to flake and be a mess, so that all has to be feathered out to nothing. Done a couple of low spots in that one, redo those, and there was just one little low spot on that door, so that needs flipping over and wet sanding as well. So back here is what we're setting up for this. Now, I don't know, in the background of any other videos a couple of weeks ago, this was just piles of rubbish. There was a little box up there for when we had sheep in here. It was a place to sit when they were lambing. That back corner is somewhere I hadn't stood for years. I had paint tins and boxes of fish boxes full of rubbish and all sorts of things. So we got it cleared out. Got a concrete floor down with a bit of a slope in it so I can wet it down. I'm going to put some sealer on that as well. Try and keep the concrete dust down as much as possible. The roof is quite rubbish. A lot of this shed needs a new roof, really. On one side anyway. The other side's perfect, but this side is bad. So this had to be the cheapest, most cost-effective thing I could do here. I was looking at inflatable booths and buying, like marquee type things and all sorts of stuff. But this seemed to be the most logical. Use a space I wasn't using, and it needs enclosing, so it was in from dust, and so we could actually warm it up in here because it's a big shed, but the wind just blows through it. So got all this corrie board, 8x4 sheets of corrie board. It's probably not the most ideal thing, but it'll give us a clean surface. I'm going to do all the ceilings in it as well. I need a few more beams to put across there, and I also want to put in two strong ones so I can hang stuff up for painting. Got an extractor fan in there. I need to get a fan to send air in here as well, but I'll add that. I added those little clear lights just to give a bit of light in here, and I'll put some fluorescents and stuff in at a later date. Now the other side's a bit more complicated because this isn't quite long enough. It'll fit a van in here, but to get around it and paint it, it has to go out that way a little bit, so I must make a set of folding doors that go out and extend out around there and make this bay a little bigger. And when it's not in use, they should fit right back in against the wall here, and I'll be able to close the doors and back in where my van is there now. So yeah, a lot to do always, but we'll get there. It's another nice improvement anyway on what we had. So as well, it's only just about high enough for a high top. As long as they don't go too far forward, should be okay. We'll be spraying this one without a roof, but I just have to settle on the biggest things that I can paint is a T25 high top in there, and that is about it. So okay, I'm going to carry on with this, and the next thing you'll see, we will be doing some kind of painting. Okay, so it's a week later again or so. Got doors on there to extend it out. I'm actually just setting up to paint now. Doors, that is. Van there, I'm just doing the seams and stuff. Got a diesel heater plumbed in over there for now. That's providing heat into here. So this is actually quite pleasant in here, seeming as it's a pretty disgusting day out. Yeah, I'm just going to do two doors as kind of a little test run for it, and I'm going to do the two side panels there as well. I am lacking light in here at the moment, but it is brightening a little outside now, so it's getting a bit better. Yeah, I will heat this place for this evening. It's a pretty damp day outside, so normally I couldn't go near anything like this on a day like this, but in here now is pretty toasty, and I've had these kind of warming up for the last couple of hours, so they're kind of yeah, so the metal will have a bit of heat to it, and I'll run that heating after I've painted them for the rest of the day, and I might turn it off tonight and see how they go. It's the night that worries me. I want to see how this paint responds to damp atmosphere. If they go dull, I will easily enough to scuff them back up and give them another coat while they're still all set up, and then we can gauge it for the rest of the panels and stuff to see how they're going to go. But hopefully they'll be fairly well set by this evening. It's fantastic to have this space now. It's all fairly well sealed. I need to put a little bit along the bottom of the doors there, and the two joins on the white doors. I need to put some strips of DPC down the join just to seal it off. Both sides of the bigger doors are sealed, and we just have that little heater there for now. That's the one that's actually going into this van. I'm going to get a bigger one for this space, but although quite pleased with how warm it is in here right now. Yeah. Right, so spraying next. Okay, so this video is taking forever because things have been progressing really slowly. I got these painted the other day. This paint is a bit of a nightmare actually. The colour has very little pigment, so you can see through it. I done 3 coats the other day. I could still see through it, and I ended up with a little run on that door. So that held me up by a day. I had to wait for that 2 days for that to set enough to go again. And then I had to do another 3 coats yesterday. Yeah, it also this week ended up, it was giving us a lovely sunny forecast with dry weather, and we were just in a misty cloud here, so it was terrible conditions for spraying. It's kind of dried up now today, but it's still exceptionally dark. So I actually couldn't see anything in here this morning. I had to borrow this light from another part of the shed to just tide me over so I can see something in here. But yeah, finish wise they're pretty nice. I'll probably end up flatting them because you can see there with when you end up putting that many coats on, you're just going to end up with a texture. They seemed a lot nicer and smoother after the first three. But anyway, that's 2 doors done. And the 2 side panels. So plan is to get these out here today and set up the boot lid and the side door, which are both ready to go, and get them hung up in here. Once they're done, it'll be time to get everything out here and get the van in here. It's all there, ready to go. Everything's sanded, flatted, wiped down. I'll hang them up in there, give them all a pre-wipe, mask up anything that needs masking up, and they'll be getting a light coated primer and getting on them with the orange. So, onwards. Right, so here we have a lot of exhaust of some form. Now this wasn't running well, the pump was all kind of locked up inside, so I filled it with that a couple of weeks ago and it's just been sitting in it and pumping out smoke and wouldn't rev. So there now we put an electric fuel pump on it just to prime it, and it seems to be starting and revving fine now. Our exhaust system is because it was pouring out smoke and it now needs to be moved to get it painted. So yeah, glow plugs, fuel pump, all sorts of craziness, but it's working. So we'll have to, it's got air in it again now, so we'll have to run it on the fuel pump again and see if we get it to go that way. Right. Yeah, so the glow plugs have been on all along, so we'll just try it. Try putting it back on its own fuel supply. Took a while to get the air out of it there again, but it seemed to come around. Right, try it slow again, yeah. Doesn't want to prime itself, does it? We'll try again just in case it's still air. Yeah, probably. That's running with the fuel pump. Okay, so successful day so far. Quite pleased with all this now in here. It's pretty good. Nice enough room around it to work away. I mean, I guess ideally you'd have a little more room, but there's enough. So, the engine runs perfectly well as long as we feed it diesel. It didn't quite seem to need the pump, but what we've done now is we just put one of those little tanks there, and we're just going to let it gravity feed. It's pretty much a bottle of injector pump purge stuff in there. The pump was filled with that a couple of weeks ago, and it's just been sitting there with it. Now it's improved drastically. Before we had it just wouldn't accelerate at all, or stay running. It wouldn't run at all for that matter by the end of it. But today we got the new starter motor in, and yeah, it runs pretty good like this. It still won't go wide open throttle, but I think with a little bit more time and a bit of fuel run through it, that'll all sort itself. But at least it starts easily and ticks over and runs fine now. Yeah, so getting it in the booth was about as tight as expected, but you know, pretty happy with it. These came out a bit nicer. I like the finish on those. Probably do a little flatting if you're really fussy, but not bad. Nicer than the two doors are. But I'm gonna get all this stuff done, and if I come back to the doors, I come back to the doors. If not, they'll go on as they are. So next up, really, I've got to clean all this down properly. I need to take out that seat. I've stuck some cardboard in the windows just to stop overspray as we spray the inside. I'm going to spray at the same time, but you know, it'll help a little. So I need to get that out, give it all a good thorough clean out, and then I'm going to prime the whole thing. That paint is just too thin to leave different colours under like that. It just won't cover it. So I think priming the whole thing is the only solution. I would have had to give it a prime anyway to seal over all these seams and you know, bits of bare metal and stuff that have it's been sanded through and things. Oh. Anyway, we also cut out the hole for the mains power. Okay, really quick catch up on where we're at. Primed this morning, masked it and primed it, and came in, started just shooting a little bit in around the door shuts and all the awkward little spaces. But a bit of a disaster in that the primer let go from the plastic and it's creating that. Normally it wouldn't happen with the textured plastic, and if you do it the same day, but this time it did. I don't know, that plastic must be different to the stuff I usually use. So I've had to pull all the plastic, and I've just finished remasking now. We're going to go ahead and shoot some paint on this. It was oh shit, around the headlamps to do. This is all more rushed than I had wanted it to be. The plan was to get primer on today, remask tomorrow, and do all the top coats, but the weather is turning to complete rubbish as of tomorrow night, so I want to get this thing done today. So we're keeping at it. I will drive on. Well, it's been a long day. We have 5 coats inside, plus 2 coats of primer. 4 coats on the outside now. Went about 10 extra psi on the pressure for spraying today, and I think that's made all the difference. I have no data sheets for this paint, so it's kind of hard to know what to do with it. Anyway, we'll have a better look at that in daylight. So, next day now, just been sticking a few little bits and pieces back on. I left the heat running on it last night and couldn't relax, so I was out here at 6 o'clock this morning unmasking it, but it seems turned out really nice. Definitely that extra little bit of pressure on the gun made a big difference. The only problem is now I'm going to have to redo the doors or flatten compound them or something to get them to match. Yeah, I just stuck those back in, and that new rear panel doesn't have any of the captive nuts for the lights or for this, so I had to put nuts on the back of that, and I'll have to get some bolts or some little plastic inserts to retain those lights. Just stuck that back on there as well. And yeah, we done all up and around under these and stuff, so there's a bit of effort in that. On the doors we had some problems with silicone spots as well, so I was kind of a bit wary about the same happening on this side, but there were a few there, but they seemed to take paint afterwards. Once we got to the second coat primer, it kind of held paint, so it was okay, and the inside looks nice. They've made all new panels with cloth trim for all the sides and stuff, so they can be getting on with all that. And we have the roof outside washed down now, ready to come in. That roof's not painted now, that just stayed in the primer. So yeah, we'll be dropping the high top on it, and all these wheels have to come off. Have the tyres taken off, clean up the wheels, get them all painted, new tyres, do the brakes. Yeah, all that to come in the very near future. But anyway, that'll end that for here. Okay folks, so I'm really tired. I'm really sick of the smell of paint. So I'm gonna end that video here. Probably do a few more little bits before Christmas. Might get the roof painted and maybe even lifted on, but we'll see. There won't be another video anyway for till next week. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great Christmas and see you probably in the new year. Cheers.